Hello and welcome. I am SimUK, and today I'm going to walk you through the necessary steps in order for you to create a joint virtual airline company in Air Hauler 2. That's a company that can be co-run by two people at the same time. And theoretically, you could increase that number to as many people as you like. Now, I'm going to be using Microsoft Flight Simulator in order to do this, but there are multiple variations of Air Hauler 2, which can be purchased from the Just Flight web store for $32.99, and the implementation that I'm using here can be applied to any of those implementations. Please be aware that tutorials like this take a lot of time and effort to create, and if you could spare just £1 donation to the channel really helps us keep our head above the water. And we can bring you more and more tutorials and guides and reviews along the way. Thank you for your consideration. Please enjoy today's tutorial. So first of all, you need to download and install Air Hauler 2 as you would any application. Then make sure that you run Air Hauler 2 before you start your flight simulator. You will be presented with this screen. This is where you create your first company. This is a necessary and pain-free step before you can create a virtual airline. So name it whatever you want and follow through the steps, choosing which level of difficulty you want to begin with. Most of the options here are permanent, but for job frequency, which can be altered at any time. More on that later. So the way that Air Hauler 2 works is that it merges both your single-player offline company with your VA company, and both money and aircraft can be shared between the two in either direction. I'll discuss that a little bit more later too. To open your initial VA company, you will first need to click on the Virtual Airline tab at the top of the Air Hauler 2 window. Then select the Company Info tab, and you will be prompted to create an online personal profile. Enter the requested details, and then you can proceed to setting up your own VA. Please note that even the email address here is case sensitive. Once completed, this will also unlock the ability to join other VA companies if that's what you want to do. So, create a name for your VA and select the starting base. Now, your starting base has very little meaning at the beginning of the game because you will basically be flying around and chasing jobs for the vast majority of your time. But it is important to note that jobs for your offline company are created around your chosen starting base, and as such, finding jobs is super simple right from the get-go. But for an online VA, the jobs are created seemingly at random, and as such, finding a very suitable job for you might be a little more tricky, especially if you want to fly in a specific area. Unfortunately, there is no way to see the list of available jobs before you choose your base, and in my humble opinion, there ought to be a lot more jobs available than there currently are. Furthermore, I personally think it would make sense to split them into local, medium, and long-haul sections. But let me know your thoughts on that in the comments section below. Now, as mentioned, you can transfer funds from your local single-player offline company to the VA, thereby allowing the VA to directly purchase aircraft and pay for fuel or any other expenses that might come up. The amount of money available to you is dependent on what difficulty you chose when you initially created your offline single-player company, so bear that in mind. If you have no offline aspirations whatsoever, then you can transfer all of the available funds into your VA. And of course, at any time, you should be able to withdraw funds from the VA back to your personal or local account. The final step is to add a bank PIN. This is required in order for you to make any purchases with the VA, so definitely keep it private. The VA is then created, and you can see from the VA tab here that we have VA company details, which will pretty much look the same for you. This is the default starting point, so yours will also look something like this as well. The next thing you need to do is to invite your co-owner to join your VA. The best way to do this is to create an advertising and hiring advert with a logo. That will just make it easier for your colleague to find your VA company and apply their application to join you. So, your co-owner needs to have Air Hauler 2 installed as well and set up with both an offline account and an online VA profile created too. Once they have done both of those things, then they have to navigate to the VA tab as well and click on the Hiring BBS button. This will load all currently available VA companies, and hopefully that will include yours as well. Just make sure that you have left it so that you're visible. So your colleague will click on the correct company and send you a message and apply to join the VA. Now the original creator will receive a message which they can accept or reject, and they will reply to that message if they accept it also. So once the second owner has accepted that acceptance position, then you can change their admin status and give them full rights to everything in the company. To do this, open the VA Pilots button and right-click on the second owner, and then Details. Open the Permissions tab and turn on all permissions as you deem necessary. If they're anything like my friends, then they will immediately try and rob every single penny out of the VA into their own account. So don't share the key with them until that impulse has passed them by. So, next you will need aircraft to fly in, and there are a number of options available to achieve this goal, depending on your starting finances, of course. One option is for both owners to transfer money directly into the VA and purchase brand new or second-hand aircraft directly from the Marketplace tab. One thing to note is that second-hand planes cannot be sent directly to your base. They will have to be collected and transported from their current location. Now, if you're playing in an offline single-player company, you can just employ an AI to reposition the second-hand aircraft, but everything happens in real time, so it could take a day or more depending on the circumstances. And oddly, it appeared that Jiminy and I can actually see a different set of second-hand aircraft available. So make sure that you check both accounts in order to get the best options available to you. And don't forget to check the condition of the plane that you're buying before you make that final choice. Now, new aircraft cost more, obviously, but they're also in 100% perfect condition, and they could also be delivered directly to your chosen base instantly. Now that's rather handy when you're just starting out. Alternatively, you should, I emphasize the word should, be able to buy an aircraft with your own personal or offline company money and then transfer that aircraft to the VA. Now that didn't work for us because the current location tab in the database failed to correctly transfer over for some reason, and that meant that we couldn't use that aircraft at all. Eventually we had to sell it and buy a second-hand aircraft directly through the VA. Now, before you can fly anything at all, you need to have a current type rating for that selected aircraft. Now, this is a very basic test that requires you to take off, fly to a certain altitude on particular headings, and then land safely with a rating of good or better. It's a very lenient test, and it appears not to notice when you do stall and or nearly smash into the side of a mountain, as shown here for my good friend Jimmy. So once all of the above is completed, you simply need to choose a job from the Worldwide Job BBS button. It's also worth noting that the regularity and type of jobs adjustment bars that I showed you earlier do not, I believe, have any effect on the VA job creation. Now, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but this is my observation. Finally, and this is the best part of co-op ownership, is the ability to split jobs between you. So if you can haul a combined weight of 1,000 pounds of goods and only 500 per aircraft, then you can load half and half onto each aircraft and the other half onto the other aircraft, and both of you can take off, fly and land together, making the journey a lot more fun and enjoyable. So guys, have fun out there. I hope this has been helpful for you. If you want to join either Jemmy or I on our journey, then please do check out our respective YouTube channels on SimUK Aviation and or Jimmy Daly. And in a few weeks or so, we might even be in a position to take on some employees. So if you'd like to join us in real time, then do check us out and see how we're getting on. Many thanks to you all, and I hope that this has been a helpful and informative video. Please do enjoy those virtual flights. Until next time, take care. Goodbye for now.
That was a beautiful first run.
Certainly was.